All
Nice.
right, all right, all right. Here we are once again, family. Surfers, how are you today? We want to know. All right, so we are working through our little kinks, but we got our music right on time. How are you today, surfers? We want to know. And I am looking. This is Healing Me Before We. And we are, I'm sorry, we got so much stuff going on in the background here. And we are a podcast. Dan wants to call it a show. So this is a show about owning our emotional drama. And we bring to you this unique way of uncovering limiting beliefs about relationships by examining the common uses of cliches. And we cover very common topics. So my name is Sharon, the Heartlady relationship specialist. And this is Dan, the Sway Man. How you doing today, Dan the man?
Well, I'm doing fantastic, Sharon. Summer's in full bloom here where I live. The flowers are blossoming, the hummingbirds are fluttering, and it's a great time of the year here where I live in Western New York.
All right. Wonderful. Well, I'm down here in hot, hot Atlanta, where it is hot. It is humid, but I'm an island girl, so I love the sunshine. I love the heat. I am all for it. And for the first time, my flowers are just blooming, flourishing, and I'm just so elated. I look at it, oh, look at my beautiful little garden. So, yes, we are doing the do. And so let's surf into it.
All
Dan,
right,
what's the topic for today?
well, we've been using this common word called separate or separate. And we've covered several different topics in some of our other shows, and we encourage you to listen to them. And some of those topics are separate beds or even bedrooms, depending on how loud your partner snores,
Right,
separate bank accounts to give
right.
each person freedom to spend or save in whatever way they choose. And we've said separate friends are the
Separate
topic for
vacations.
today because
Hmm.
you're right. That's what happens when you start doing a list. You miss, and that's what I did today, and that's okay. Yeah, this builds on last week's and some of the other topics as well. When we talk last week, we talked about separate vacations,
Yeah,
and today's separate friends. And when we use the word separate, we're not saying separation like leading to divorce.
yeah,
What we're saying is each person in the relationship has freedom and choice to do things, sometimes with their significant other in harmony with them, and sometimes apart from them.
yeah.
And neither is good nor bad. In fact, I just read this article and I just really liked how it said that the idea of separation in itself is neither good nor bad. It's neutral.
Hmm.
And, and you and I have said this on a regular basis.
Interesting. Yeah,
It comes down to the word perception, right?
yeah.
First off, how do I perceive the idea of having separation in all of these things that we've previously discussed in other shows, and
Mhm.
including friendships? And here's the thing, most of us, before we're married, have lives of our own,
That's right.
including friendships
That's right.
with other people. And then when we enter into this union of marriage with someone,
Yeah,
those relationships can still be there and present and a part of our lives.
yeah,
And and there's nothing either good nor bad about that. It really comes down to a word that you and I also use on a regular basis, trust, right? And so sometimes, and we've talked about this as well, when we get into a marriage, going back to that cliche that you and I have used, soulmate, right? Now
mm-hmm.
you have married your soulmate. Well,
Yeah.
that can have so much attached to it.
Yeah.
Now, this is the person, the one and only person that
Yeah.
I am connected to in this way. And so now one person in the relationship sees it as a beautiful thing, right? Because I
Yeah.
finally found that person that I've been
Right.
searching for my whole life, and they're happy and they don't want to be in a relationship with anyone else. And the other person though starts to feel like this is a little clingy. Like I don't know if this is what I really want. I
Right.
want to be in a relationship with you. At the same time, though, I also want to be in a relationship with others, and that includes friendships with
Yeah.
people either I previously have had or people that I've developed relationships with even since our marriage.
Yeah. Well, I have a couple of school of thoughts with that. Having separate friends. I agree that if you've had friends from before you've met, which more than likely, of course, you do, you've had friends before you met. Then when your spouse, your partner, uh, when you are now, say, living together and or married, right? And your partner does not like your friend,
Mm,
that creates conflict. There's
yes.
also when your partner doesn't appreciate that your very, very best friend is of the opposite sex.
Oh, yes.
So those also create conflict. And so the question is, but I grew up with this friend from we were in elementary school all the way through middle school and high school and college, and you don't like them because there's nothing that's ever been between us. And now that I'm married, you don't want me to be their friend? Conflict, big, big, big arguments over that. What are your thoughts when it comes to um, the couple that is living together, married or not, but have a strong commitment to each other, and the one partner says, I don't feel comfortable with you
Mm.
having your best friend of the opposite sex.
Well, I talked to a couple of people, as a matter of fact, today about this topic.
Hmm.
And I talked with a gentleman who's in his early 70s, and I asked him about friendships with the opposite gender.
Yes.
And can he have a relationship with a woman without his wife being present? And he said, no. He said, that just leads to trouble.
In trouble.
And then I asked a young man who's in his early 20s.
Hmm.
And you know what? He surprised me. He said the same thing that the 70-year-old said. He said, no. He said, previously I could have. He says, not anymore. He said, just opens up the door, he said, to too many issues. And I was, like I said, I was surprised by that.
The younger one, yeah. Yeah, I think it's across the board. Did you get to ask any women?
I did not.
So I would love to hear their
Well, I
response.
know
More
my
than
wife's,
likely, they would have said no.
I know my wife's answer, Meg.
What was her answer?
Her answer would be absolutely not. And because I've already gotten myself into the hot water on this very topic of
Yeah,
friends of the opposite gender.
yeah.
And I know it comes down to that word trust, right?
Trust.
We've said that
Yeah,
before, and it's true. Now, not that it's not for me and the other person. We don't have the issue. It's
right,
it's the significant other that
right.
has the issue.
It's you.
And
And you,
and so it's important to be respectful. We've
yes,
used that word as well, right?
yeah,
It's like, what do I value more? And it does come down to that. Do I value the staying in a relationship of matrimony with my wife, who doesn't really put a whole lot of what I would call conditions on our relationship?
Right.
And she's being honest about this one. She's saying, this is where I do draw the line.
I draw the line.
That
Yeah.
if you're going to go out with, for me, a woman and have lunch with her, I'm not okay with that.
You taking that woman out on a date and you're a married
Yeah,
man. And
that's
that's how
right.
we see it. And when you say the trust factor, I think it's not that they don't trust you, it's just that they don't trust the other person.
Could be both.
Men will always say, I know how men think. And if they had the opportunity to be with you, especially since you've been best friends for so long, that if they had the opportunity, then they would try to be with you. And women will say, hey, they don't even the opportunity doesn't have to present itself. They always want you if you're gonna be friends like that. So it's funny. I've heard different takes on it, but like you, Dan, the majority is like, no, that's not working. So the other
Well, the
thing
reason
is,
my wife is okay with you and me is because we're actually virtual. We're
that's right.
right. I spend so much time with you. I don't spend more time with any other woman really
Ooh,
exclusively than I do with you, and it's okay. She hasn't
it's
said that
okay.
I can't be in a relationship with you, and that kind of does bring up that other topic because of social technology and now with social media and
Right.
becoming friends with
Yeah.
someone that you meet up with, right? Somehow
Right.
in the social media technology world, internet world, and is that okay as well, right?
And you know what? I have two couples who really had a hard time with their partner having virtual friends. But but it's in a different setting. So we're virtual friends via this business of having the show and sharing with our viewers, with our heart surfers.
Yes.
Now these couples are having friends, virtual friends, and having inappropriate conversations while they're married, not disclosing that they're married, and having these relationships where they're playing games together and they think it's all part of this game that there's out there that you can be in this type of club, I guess, like for
Okay.
lack of a better term,
Sounds
because
like
I'm
secrecy.
so yeah, and it's more in secret. And no, because one of the couples is not secret. I'm well aware that they
Oh,
talk
okay.
to a group, but there's always this one specific one. Oh, and then that one specific one becomes the team part of their team player. And so she just feels as that's just a bit too comfortable for me. And
Okay.
so yeah, so it can be very sticky on having separate friends. I know particular if we take out even that it's an opposite uh, um, of opposite sex, the friendship can still create an issue if your partner doesn't like your friend for whatever reason they have. That creates a problem, as I said before. And then you also have where I had a point where you can also have single. So some partners will say you can have married friends, but you can't have single
Mhm.
friends, or you can't go out with your single friends, but you can go out with your married friends.
Yes. Well, and I mean, my goodness, we could do so many shows on this topic because I was saying to you earlier, that's one of my biggest struggles and Maggie's as well, is finding couples that we both like, right? A man and a woman and a man and a woman that
Yeah,
we both enjoy being with.
right, right.
And that's not an easy thing to
It
do.
is, it isn't
Often there's somebody that doesn't like somebody
somebody
else
else.
in the
Yes.
couple relationship.
Relationship. Typical.
And
Yes.
unless we can learn to accept the other people or the
Yeah.
particular person that we're not really that fond of,
Yeah.
then it just makes it so much more difficult to go out with a couple
Yeah.
as a married couple with another married couple. And
Yeah.
I'd love to hear from heart surfers on this topic because I'm sure many of us have experienced that where
Yeah.
I'm just fascinated by one person in the relationship and the other person I really don't want to have much to do with. And yet they come together, right? As a couple when you go out in a foursome
Yeah.
and you got to find a way to make it work.
Yeah. Yeah. I have been in that situation where one person didn't like the other person and we just made it work. And I'm finding we have found a couple that we both like, the both of them in the couple. So that's been fun to go out and have have some dates out together and go to events and shows together. So that has been it really makes it a lot more fun when you
Yes,
both
there's
like
a
the people that you're going out with. But yeah,
fun.
this having separate friendships, the good thing about it is that what that you can identify your own individuality, right? And that you also can have emotional support other than
Mhm.
you get emotional support from your partner, but then you get more of an objective emotional support when you have a separate, friends that are not so much in the couple. You know what I mean? You have
They're
friends
not
that are,
enmeshed.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
no,
yeah,
I get that because it's not that your partner isn't a good listener. Sometimes we need someone else, right? And we would
yeah,
benefit from sharing with somebody else
yeah,
about what's happening in a way that would be helpful
yeah,
and supportive. Now,
right.
I just want to go back to a word, and I think it's the word is transparency, right? If you're
Okay,
doing things and your spouse doesn't know about them, that's a
okay,
red flag,
yes,
right? Because then
yes,
there must be some reason why you're not disclosing to your significant other
yeah,
that you went out with this person today. Like, so if Maggie said to me, "Oh, honey, what'd you do today?" And let's say I went out to lunch with a friend and I didn't tell her that I went out to lunch with this friend, that would be a red flag in terms of, okay, how come I'm not able to disclose this relationship
yeah,
with my spouse?
yeah.
And maybe the answer is because she would get upset.
Yeah, it may not be anything is strictly platonic. Could be a coworker, someone that you enjoy their company, or someone that needs your or is asking for your advice,
Yeah.
or just needs to vent, and you didn't think of it, but and of course, if you forgot, then then of course it becomes, and they find out, then that becomes an issue.
Right.
So yeah,
If that becomes a habit, right,
yes,
of not being willing to disclose who your friends are to your significant other,
yeah,
then that's a real issue.
yeah,
That's a real issue because there's that word again, trust, right?
mm-hmm,
I trust you, as you said previously, though, maybe it's not about the person doesn't trust me, they don't trust the other person I'm with.
yeah,
At the same time, though, you don't need to trust that other person. The only person you really need to trust is your significant other and their choices and actions, no matter what the other person may or may not want or intend to have happen.
yeah.
Because there's a word that I can always use. No, I am not playing that game.
That
I'm
game, and also making yourself that you're not vulnerable and putting yourself in precarious situations as well, so knowing your boundaries. So again, it is about identifying your individuality and who you are without your partner there with you, and so like you said, Dan, it's important to have open communication and that you're able to express that. And I was thinking while you were saying, Dan, uh if you're going out with that person, I was like, it becomes an issue. It becomes an issue if you're going out with the same person quite often, and it
yes.
becomes an issue if you're going out with different women. That becomes an issue too. So if you're going out with more than one, why you talking to more than one. And then,
Mhm.
of course, the same one, then we know that an emotional relationship can begin, and that is just as painful.
That's
And then
true.
also, if you have this friend that you go, whether it's a man, well, let's say, for instance, it's not of opposite sex, it's the same sex, but you have this good friend, it can create an issue in the relationship if you're not prioritizing your marriage or
Mm.
your quality time with your partner, and you're going out with your friend too often. That also becomes an issue.
Well, there's that word balance,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Yeah.
balancing relationships with others and
Yeah.
relationship with my significant other. I
Yeah.
I love that you brought that in because there's a need for balance in
Yeah.
our relationship of marriage. And that balance can go both ways, right? It can go in connection with that person that I'm in union with, and it can go as well in alignment with separation in terms of living my true and authentic self. There's a cliche or a phrase that we've heard. What does that really mean, my true and authentic self? It just means who I am in relationship to how I see myself in
Mm.
in terms of my own beliefs and values that may not always be in alignment with my spouse's.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be on so many fronts, including today's world with the politics
Yeah. Yeah.
and the religion and all of that stuff, right?
Right. Right.
And so I want to keep my own authentic self values and beliefs and not necessarily tread or step on my significant others. And that's a show that we've done as well, as far as like we can have different ideas, different values, different beliefs, and different friends because we're different.
Yeah. Yeah. We can. And one of the things that you were saying is having separate friends, you can share your opinions, or whether you agree or controversial, it just doesn't seem as deep as when you're, especially when you have controversial views with your partner. You may not feel as you might be walking, like you said, on eggshells, talking to them about a particular subject, especially when it becomes in with politics. Someone was just
Yes.
talking to me about that today. It wasn't her partner, but it was her son who was very involved in politics. And
Mhm.
they shared different views. And that's definitely, she says, a subject that we cannot talk about whatsoever. And she says she loves politics and he loves politics, but different
Just in
views.
a different way.
Yeah, so having a friend that you can share those views with your opinions with can also help as well to be genuine, and not, I don't want to say genuine because you can be genuine with your partner, but also be able to share your views. And I'll keep on going back to maintaining your own individuality.
Mhm.
I think that's so important, and that goes into as you were saying, being that authentic self,
Mm.
right? And so yeah, I think it's interesting. I'm really love to hear from our heart surfers and hear chime in and tell us what you feel, what you've been through, and what are your views and points. Dan and I also are planning sometime soon. So keep it locked. We want to go live. So we can get your live comments and hear you chime in. So we're trying to get our schedules together so that we can be bold and brave enough for those of us, we're over 60 and we're like, do we want to really do this? But yeah, I think that's something that we're looking forward to so we can get live comments, right, Dan?
Absolutely. I'm ready.
All
Um,
right. So, Dan, can you give us some tips on
well, I
separate
think you said
friends?
it. You
What's
said
that?
it earlier. And that what I want to say is this: make sure there's balance in our
Mm,
relationships, including our relationship with our significant other, and look at how we spend our time, right? And if
yeah.
I'm spending more time away from my significant other,
Mm-hmm.
then that's a red flag as well. What's that all
Absolutely.
about, right?
Yep.
What's really going on? Why am I doing that? And actually, my wife Maggie said to me yesterday, she says, "You're not here anymore. You're not around." And
Mm.
I've been a busy guy. I've taken on a few other things in the last few months, and she's correct that I'm not as available.
You've had that long 27-hour drive,
Well, and she did not go with me.
right?
And she doesn't like drives. She doesn't like long car rides. And so finding then those common interests, right,
Yeah.
with our
Yeah.
significant other and making sure that we prioritize those
Yeah.
as much as we do to schedule our time with others.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And I don't so much have a quote, Dan, today because it was really hard to find a quote on that. But I will quote, let me find her. What was her first name? Miss Ryan. What was her first name?
Jane Ryan.
Yes, I will quote her from an article that she wrote talking about balancing, connecting, and separation. And and I liked one of the things that she said. Uh, I was trying to find her name, and then I moved from where I wanted to go. Separation that enhances intimacy is born of the kind of trust and freedom that allows for each partner to live from their most authentic self.
Mm.
And I like that. And so there we have it, Heart Surfers. We're going to be coming to you live real soon. Tune in, check out our other shows that we've had. Comment on that. If you have a particular comment or cliche or a limiting belief about relationships, share your views. Dan and I would love to chat about it. All right, now, so you all stay safe, stay cool, hydrate if you're in the area where it's hot, like where we are. And if you're on the opposite spectrum, look forward for the warmth. Coconuts and
There we
sunshine.
go.
That's what we're about, right, Dan?
Ah, I love both of those things,
Coconuts and sunshine. All right, let's
connecting
see
to
if
both
I
of
can
them.
find that so that we can find our way, sign our way out. And
There
here
we go.
we go.
The music is happening. There it is. You got it.
Hey, I'm getting it, y'all. I'm
You
getting
got it. You're doing it. Sunlight and coconuts, surfs up till we meet again. All those cliches.
it.